Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here, and I wanted to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone as well. I wanted to talk about something on GTA Online, which is basically what happens when someone gets too used to one vehicle. Now, this can be for any vehicle really, but I'm going to be directing most of it towards the Oppressor Mark II because most people, a lot of people, are really used to it and haven't been using other vehicles as often. And this is not a video, specifically attacking the Oppressor Mark II. The Oppressor Mark II has its uses. It's a very effective grinding vehicle. It's a very good vehicle getting across the map, good in missions. I don't personally use it, but I do see the benefits of it, and I do see how it can be helpful. But on the other hand, there's also problems. Now, not really going to be talking about the griefing, that's, I've covered that in other videos. But, the biggest problem for the Oppressor Mark II, in my eyes, is when the vehicle just changes GTA Online so much, because sure, the griefing can be annoying, but on the other hand, the number one problem with it in my eyes is when people just are too used to it, they're going to be using that, and they're not going to be using anything else. They're not going to be using any other planes. They're barely going to drive cars. And yes, I understand people still drive these other vehicles. People still fly these other vehicles, but it's just not as often anymore. Like, how often do you see, helicopters? How often do you see planes? I mean, you do see them still, but I used to see them a lot more back in the day. In comparison to today, I see, plenty of Oppressor Mark IIs flying around whenever I join a full lobby, but I don't really see that many planes. And this is the problem. When people get too used to one vehicle like the Oppressor Mark II, they seem to forget about all the other vehicles in the game and a lot of the other vehicles that are fun and also useful in other situations. But there's also another problem, which is that they get so used to a vehicle like the Oppressor Mark II that they will only use the Oppressor Mark II and no other vehicle, even when they have a situation where another vehicle would be better and more superior in that situation. They will still prefer to use the Oppressor Mark II. And the reason? It's because it's so convenient for them. It's easy to spawn, easy to get across the map, and you can see why people are using it. I'm not really blaming them for that, but it does come with its problems. Like in this case, I have perfect clear evidence here of what happens when people get too used to one vehicle. So this is the air checkpoints. I don't really like that many free mode events, but this is actually probably my favorite free mode events is actually the air checkpoints. And, we had a few minutes before it started saying air checkpoints, so I decided to spawn my Rogue. And the Rogue is actually one of the cheapest planes in the game. If you have the trade price on this, it's $1,200,000. So the Rogue is a decently cheap plane, and even a Seabreeze would be great in this, and a Seabreeze is even cheaper than a Rogue. So in this challenge, what ended up happening was I win first place. I get 71 checkpoints, and everybody else, second, third, and fourth place pretty much, they were all using Oppressor Mark IIs. I did not, at least in my eyes, I didn't see one other plane in this lobby. I did not see one other person using a plane in this case to pick up the checkpoints, and a plane is a superior to the Oppressor Mark II. Like a plane like the Rogue, that is superior to the Oppressor Mark II in this specific challenge. Might not be better than the Oppressor Mark II in all situations, but in this specific situation right here, collecting air checkpoints, planes are better, specifically planes like the Rogue. And you can see me right here, I'm collecting a ton of checkpoints, getting a lot of them, and second and third place, I'm passing them. They're also collecting checkpoints, but they're not collecting checkpoints at the same rate as me. And one of the guys here, he actually died. I don't know how he died in his Oppressor Mark II, so that set him back a little bit. But then this other guy here, he was trying really badly to catch up to me. He was making a good effort, but he wasn't able to catch up to me. And I know he started a little bit late, but if you take a look at the rate that I'm picking up checkpoints in comparison to him, I'm picking the checkpoints up much, much faster than him. I'm getting them at a much faster rate than he is. So you can see that even though he's trying, the Rogue, it's just more agile in this case, I'm able to easily fly around to the sides, pick up these checkpoints, and sometimes I'm picking up checkpoints right as he's about to get to them. I fly over to one, get another one, right before he's going to get it. And this guy, he was cool, he was nice, he wasn't trying to shoot me down, it was just a friendly competition. I like doing this challenge here, but, if he had a plane, he could have been doing, just as well as me, or he could have possibly even passed me. So why aren't people, using planes in a situation like this? Why are they using the Oppressor Mark II? Because with an Oppressor Mark II, if you crash, it's a lot more forgiving, and even if you die, you can just spawn another one really quickly, where if you crash with this, a plane, oftentimes it's going to explode, you gotta call Morse Mutual, you gotta spawn one again, drive over the area, or even wait the cooldown depending on when you crash the plane. But a plane is better in this situation. It is better. You just gotta know how to use it. It's because a plane is harder to use. It's harder to use than the Oppressor Mark II. The Oppressor Mark II is so easy to use, and that's why people are using it. But the plane, it is the better option in this specific challenge. And there are certain situations, like, certain missions when you're trying to clear out a bunch of enemies where the Oppressor Mark II would be better than the Rogue. I'm not denying that. There are situations where the Oppressor Mark II would be better than the Rogue. But the problem is when people are just so set on using one vehicle. And like I said, this isn't just about the Oppressor Mark II, but the Oppressor Mark II is the #1 vehicle with it. There's people that use other vehicles, and they're just too used to one specific vehicle. They won't give other vehicles a chance. There's a lot of good vehicles in this game, and there's going to be more vehicles added in future updates. I just wish people were more open to using other vehicles and having fun with them instead of constantly relying on one vehicle. I understand that back in the day, it was harder when, we had to drive across the map with, like, supercars. I remember that when people would actually drive across the map with supercars, they would use helicopters, but now everybody just spawns an Oppressor Mark II, and I miss those days. I know it was harder, but I do actually miss those days when, when we could actually drive around in those vehicles. Maybe, maybe in the future, Rockstar could make, like, other lobbies where, it's just, like, cars and planes, and, like, you could have, like, a vanilla version of GTA Online. I wouldn't mind that. But basically, that was just me talking about my personal thoughts. And look, you don't have to agree with me. If you're a big fan of the Oppressor Mark II and you completely disagree with what I'm saying, that's perfectly fine. But this is just my opinion and just how I feel on the issue. I feel that people have gotten too used to one vehicle, and they're not going to use other vehicles, even if those vehicles are better in a different situation. Even if those vehicles are superior, they're just going to keep using that one vehicle that they're used to. They're not really going to take the time to get into other vehicles, which I really wish they would. But let me know what you guys think down below. And I mean, if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like. And if you're new to my channel, you might subscribe. And again, happy Thanksgiving. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone.